ಇಲ್ಲೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ನಡಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ.
ನೀನು ಹೋಗು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ.
How come you're so early?
The officers have declared holiday today.
Why so?
Samarth, this is why I keep asking you to follow the news.
I have my own things to deal with, Pops.
ಅಡಿಕೆ ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ತಂದೇನೋ?
ಸುಶೀಲಾ, ನನ್ನ ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಬೇಡ, ಅಂಗಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲೋಸು. ನಂಗೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಕೆಲಸ ಇದೆ.
ಊಟ ರೆಡಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬನ್ನಿ.
ಅಂಗಡಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ತೆಗ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹಾಕೋ.
PM Narendra Modi declared a 3-week nationwide lockdown starting midnight Tuesday, explaining that it was the only way of breaking the COVID-19 infection cycle. This essentially extended the lockdown for most states and union territories to the entire country and provided a more definite timeline. Social distancing is the only way to break the cycle of infection, he said. This is like a curfew and far stricter than the Janata Curfew, PM said. Seeing present conditions, this lockdown will be for 21 days. This is to save India, save each citizen and save your family. Do not step outside your house. For 21 days, forget what is stepping outside. There is a Lakshman Rekha on your doorstep. Even one step outside your house will bring the coronavirus inside your house. In his second address to the nation on the COVID-19 outbreak, Modi told people to stay inside their homes for 21 days, warning that if they didn't do so, the country would be set back 21 years and families would be destroyed. His last address was on the outbreak was on March 19th. This is Meghna, your daily reporter from News 13. We will be back with the lockdown guidelines after a short break.
ಅಮ್ಮ, ಹಸ್ವಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಊಟ ಕೊಡು.
Seems like I can finally spend some time with my family.
ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆದರೂ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ.
ನಳಿನಿ, ನಂಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೊಸರನ್ನ ಸಾಕಮ್ಮ.
ರಜೆ ಬಂತು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಜಾ ಮಾಡಿ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಒಲಿಂಪಿಯಾಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸು?
ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಂಗೆ. ಹುಚ್ಚಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀಯ ನೀನು.
ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ನನ್ನ ತಲೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ.
ನಾನಿರುತ್ತೇನಲ್ಲ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ.
ನೀ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ನ್ಯೂಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಚೈನಾ ವೈರಸ್ಸು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಏನಂತೆ ಹೊಸದು?
ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಕೇಳಿ. ಚೈನಾದಲ್ಲಿ ವುಹಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಊರಿದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಲ್ಯಾಬಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ವೈರಸ್ಸು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಜ್ವರ ಬರ್ತಿದೆಯಂತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅದು ಇಂಡಿಯಾಗೆ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಚಾನ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಏನೇನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಲೋ.
ಹಲೋ ಸಮರ್ಥು.
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಇರು. ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ತಲುಪ್ತೆ? ಮೆಸೇಜಿಗೆ ರಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ನಿನಗೆ?
ಈ ಸಮರ್ಥು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಬ್ಬ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ನಂಗೆ ಬಂದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳು, ಒಂದು ಬಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಒಂದು ಬಸ್ಸು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಪ್ಪ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರಿಗೋ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊನೆಗೊಂದು ಗಾಡಿ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಈಗ 15 ನಿಮಿಷ ಆಯ್ತಷ್ಟೇ ಬಂದು.
ಸತ್ಯ ತಲುಪ್ತಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಗಿದ್ದಾರೆಲ್ಲ? ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ?
ಹ್ಞೂ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರಾಮ್. ಅಜ್ಜಿಗಂತೂ ಫುಲ್ ಖುಷಿ, ಅಮ್ಮನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನನಗೂ ಸೆಮ್ ಮುಗಿಯೋವರೆಗೂ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ನೆಪದಿಂದ ಆದರೂ 1-2 ವಾರ ಇದ್ದು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ನನಗೊಂದು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಸಿಕ್ತಂಗಾಯಿತು. ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಾಯಿತು.
ಹೌದೌದು, ನನ್ನಿಂದನೂ ದೂರ ಹೋಗಿದೆಯಾ? ನಿಂಗೇನು ಅನಿಸ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ವಾ?
ನೀನು ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಬೇಡ. ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ವಿತ್ ಯೋರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ. ಇಟ್ ಸೀಮ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂಥನ್ಸ್ ಲವ್. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ದಿಸ್. ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆಲ್ ರೈಟ್. ಏ ಸಮರ್ಥು, ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದು? ಯು ಆರ್ ಗುಡ್ ವಿತ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ.
ಸಮರ್ಥು, ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯೇನೋ? ಈ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಒಂದು ಸಮ್ಮು. ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯೇನೋ?
ಹೇಳು.
ಏನಂತ ಯಾವಾಗಲೇ?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಾವಿಷ್ಟು ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೌ ಆರ್ ವಿ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್?
ಏ ಸಮ್ಮು, 1-2 ವಾರ ತಾನೆ. ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆಲ್ ರೈಟ್.
ಸರಿ. ಅಂಕಲ್ ಏನಂತಾರೆ?
ಅಯ್ಯೋ, ಹೀಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕ್ಯೂ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ತುಂಬ ರಶ್ ಅಂತ ದಿನಸಿ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಮುಂದೆ. ಊಟಕ್ಕೂ ಬರ್ತಾರೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ?
ಓ ಹೌದಾ?
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ವಾತಾವರಣ?
ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮಂಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಖುಷಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ನಮ್ಮಪ್ಪನೂ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಇಬ್ಬರು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ.
ದಿವ್ಯಾ?
ಅವಳು ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಒಲಿಂಪಿಯಾಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಚಿಂತೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ.
ಸಮರ್ಥು, ಅಮ್ಮ ಕರೀತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಹೇ, ಐ ಮಿಸ್ ಯು.
ಬಾಯ್ ಕಣೋ.
Hello, sir. Yes. Yes. Sir, the data set is under process. I will send you in another 3 hours. Sir, could you give me some more time? 1 hour won't be sufficient. Okay, sir.
Be able to describe Photochromism is a vast field, and in this section of book we will only be able to describe in a detail the main class. Photochromism is a vast field, and in this field of book we will only be able to describe in any detail the main classes of photochromic compounds. However, ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ನನಗೆ I'll never miss my online school. I'm even attending that EduRite special classes. But still I'm not able to understand what's this. How am I going to score 95% this time? ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಈ ಸತಿ ಫೇಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Divya, what happened to you? ಯಾಕೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಕೂತಿದ್ಯಾ? Come now, it's time to watch the news.
ನಂಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಸು ಬೇಡ, ಏನು ಬೇಡ, ನಾನು ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ.
The plants are generally herbs and a few trees with a mucilaginous
ಇರೋ ಬರೋ ಕಾಲೇಜಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ದೇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. I can't resist this anymore. I just want to see you once, Aish.
I'm sure our college is going to open soon. Summer, are you there?
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೀತಿದ್ದ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡು.
ನನಗಿವಾಗ ಮೂಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಸರಿ, ನಾನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಂಗೆ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. कभी कभार मैं ये सोचता हूँ मैं क्यों घड़ी के हाथों जैसे जिंदगी नहीं रसती पलकों के कोने मैं भावों से भरी सिंधु उड़ती है कभी गिरती है काबू कैसे पाऊं
ಎಷ್ಟು ಓದೋದು? ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ತಗೋ ಹೋಗು. घड़ी के हाथों जैसे जिंदगी नहीं रसती
पलकों के कोने में भावों से भरे सिंधु
कभी उड़ती है कभी गिरती है काबू कैसे पाऊं
India has recorded 26 million COVID-19 cases, second only to the US. It is the new epicenter of the global pandemic. The second wave in recent weeks has overwhelmed the healthcare system, leaving hospitals struggling to cope and critical drugs and oxygen in short supply.
In this regard, today we have with us one of the most prominent psychologists of our time, Dr. Vandana Jain. She's a practicing psychologist from last 15 years. So ma'am, earlier you were telling me about how there are researches happening in the light of lockdown and quarantine. So we would love to hear from you that how the social isolation is impacting the children and senior citizens in India due to the COVID outbreak.
Right, Sakshi, like this pandemic has brought many difficulties or maybe changes in the life of a man. So when I say social isolation, I'd like to mention it more specifically. It is not a social isolation, it is rather physical isolation. So with that respect, I think when you said about the children, management of children and managing elders, I think if I describe the first part, managing the children, I think it is better we have to make them to involve with some activities where they alone can sit and do. Say for example, drawing, painting, or maybe going with some individual games. But I would like to give another suggestion for the parents or the caretakers of the children, because we should be very careful when we are leaving or when we are telling the child to be alone. We have to be very keen that what the child is doing. If I come to the second part, that is managing the senior citizens, I think we can make them to involve themselves with some spiritual activity in an online mode, or maybe attending some pravachanas or maybe some good motivational talks through online. If we connect ourselves with the senior person in the family through regularly calling, if we have a gathering, I think that loneliness can be reduced.
घर वालों के साथ वक्त बिताना अच्छा होता है, but too much of family time can, I think, lead to relational ignorance. So how do you think one can still keep up with their loved ones, especially in the working class community?
Now it is a big question, like with whom we have to give time, how much we have to give time, at what time we have to give a time for them. So I strongly agree that we all should look into our quality time spent with our loved ones. So we have to analyze that. So analyzing our quality time spent with our loved one is enough.
Yes ma'am, truly it's just the quality that matters. So at the same time, a lot of us lost our loved ones. It all seems like a bad dream. So how do you think one can deal with the grief or confusion that everyone has experienced during this pandemic?
Yes, it is a very painful thing, like where because of this pandemic, I think many of our loved ones or many of our known people lost their life or maybe lost their loved ones. As a psychologist, I would like to quote here, we have 5 stages of grief. Those who are taking care of people who just experiencing the grief, we have to identify in which stage of grief they are. Whether they are denial of the reality, is it their anger towards the state which they are experiencing, or is it they are bargaining with God or bargaining with others so that this should be changed? Is it they are in a depressed phase, or they are in a deep loneliness, or they are in an acceptable stage? So according to that, if we plan to give our support to the person who is in a grief, I think that will be more fruitful than just giving a sympathetic approach.
So on one side there is deep grief, but on the other side, people of various age group occupied with numerous professions or say students have to adapt to this new online era, which offers anxiety for free. So how do you think one can deal with the anxiety that they're experiencing in this lockdown?
Nature says change is the only thing which is permanent. So I would like to specifically mention students that we all should change our lifestyle. Online connection is one thing, the otherwise connectivity is also matters here. And we have to introduce a little bit of exercise, maybe a mindfulness meditation. Along with that, having a discipline in our online class also. so that it gives a pleasure or it gives something positive to ourselves. From then I think anxiety will reduce, or maybe anxiety won't enter at all.
Thank you, ma'am.
One more thing, Sakshi, I would like to add a few points, or maybe I would like to conclude by saying there is a room for consultation. So online counseling, online therapies are available. So I request all of you, please take that particular facility which is available, and it is effective too. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. It was definitely a lot of information for us to take us back at home and something to think over. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you today. That's it for now. I am Sakshi from Sign News, signing off for today.
Sir, what about the increment this month? I still haven't received it. Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
ಏನಾಯ್ತ್ರಿ?
Just leave me alone.
ನಳಿನಿ, ಬಾ ಅಮ್ಮ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
ಕರೆದ್ರ ಅತ್ತೆ?
ಹಾಂ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ದೊಡ್ಡವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಮನ್ಸು ಹಗುರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಿದ್ವಿ. ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮನ್ಸು ಬಿಚ್ಚಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಪ್ರಕಾಶನು ಅವಳ ಮೇಲೆ ರೇಗಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವಳು ಅಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿನೂ ಕಣ್ಣೀರು ಹಾಕ್ತಾಳೆ. ಇವನು ಆಕಾಶನೇ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿರೋ ಥರ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ದಿವ್ಯಾಗೆ ವಯಸ್ಸಿದ ಮೀರಿದ ಚಿಂತೆ. ನನಗಿದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಸುಮ್ಮನಿರೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಟಿ ವಿಲಿ ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮೊಬ್ಬರು ಮನೆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ತಿಳಿದಿರೋರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೊಂದು ಸಮಾಧಾನ ತಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸಹಾಯ ಪಡೆಯೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಸಣ್ಣವರು ಆಗಲ್ಲ.